Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Harmony. I am a twin flame expert helping twin flames around the globe face fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Welcome to my weekly glow show. Today's topic is the 1111 portal and bringing you some energy update as far as what I'm seeing as I've been diving into this vortex, doing a lot of downloads in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, and getting ready for the ceremony that I'm hosting on 11/11 coming up on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. I do still have a couple openings for that. If it's something you've been on the fence about, I would highly suggest you check out the link below because it is powerful stuff. I've been doing a lot of channeling, as I do a lot of times, but I'm being told this is going to be like a crash course and a lot of information to be signed up for. And I do know that, it's one of those things, just like everything else, it's divine timing. It's the connection. It's the collaboration of coming together with a collective people that those dots click. So whoever's supposed to be there will. So if you've been on the fence, I urge you to check that out because it's something that I want to share with everybody, and there will be a lot more to come. This is going to be a lot of like the overview of today. I'm going to kind of like sum up some of the topics. There's no way I can share here what I'm going to be sharing there. It's too intense, too in-depth, and too many different directions. In fact, what I was going to say is that actually is pretty much the funnel of 4 of my books at the same time that I've been working on, and an outline of that. And I want to today just commend you for the work you've done up to this point. We've been through some rough energy. We've been through some rough shifts, some turbulent energy here as we're coming into landing, and it's like this portal is about making the landing, okay? And what we've done and is we've been embodying the light. We had to awaken to our identity, then we had to activate our DNA, and then from there we've had to acknowledge our role as a collective unit here and a collective effort so that we can connect grid lines and create the web, the World Wide Web of all of us coming into unity as one, which it took oneness of self to get into the portal of becoming one with source, to become one with all that is. So again, I commend you because there's so much work to be done. And so that's what this portal is about also, is the action and the implementation of all that we've been working on. So I like to talk about it this way. We first have to activate it. We have to acknowledge and activate something that we're working on. Then we have to go practice it by working it. And then it's more like perfecting it in the third time around where we're living it. So this has been this 3 phases of energy that we've been coming in. So around through like the Lion's Gate all the way up to the 1010 portal was about a lot of activation of some high, and I was working with been working with a lot of the diamond light activations. And the diamond light, typically what it actually means, to sum it up, there's a lot more to it. It is about bringing the fragments of ourself and all the different incarnations we've made from all the different light sources and all the different spectrums of that ray of the rainbow, basically coming into God's color of love and becoming one and whole again as a unit of energy, and restoring the oneness of the white light of God. And when we do that, that's creating that rainbow light, that's creating the diamond light. So we've been restoring that oneness and activating a higher frequency of energy of being the diamond light from the Lion's Gate all the way up to the 1010 portal. And our bodies have been, going through a lot of shifts and a lot of changes in order to support that light. Not to mention our human body, our human emotions, our human consciousness as far as having to live in a 3D world. And I want to tell you that with all these like extensive downloads I've been doing and going up and expanding as well in my own vibration and tapping into some new territory and feeling a little bit of uncharted territory myself in that space. And it's like the things that have been happening to show up for me to present, it's like living in the matrix right now. And so many synchronicities and so many people are waking up to this and these identities, twin flame or not, and activating all this DNA. Everybody's going up in consciousness, and we're all acknowledging that we want more out of life and that we want to connect to that. So we've been activating that aspect. I mean, it needs to be been going on since way before then, but we've been really activating that. And I'm calling this like we're radioactivating. Okay, so we're becoming radioactive basically, and this is like truth. Like we really are. And then, you know, from there, what we've been doing is retemplating in ourself. Okay, so going from like the portal of 1010 coming up through the portal here of 1111, we've been retemplating within us. And now it's about working that. It's about taking that into the collective. It's about connecting the final grid lines and taking those templates, not just throughout the grid lines, but into and implementing them into action for other people to follow as these blueprints and these templates. And so many of us, and I still work with a lot of clients that have been really going through a lot of the concept and the idea their old ways don't work anymore, and that the way they're having this lost feeling. And I understand that. I went through it, but I went through it very intensely a couple of years ago. So I totally understand what that's like. And it's when you've shifted your way of being and you've shifted this energy and the way you've handled things in the past don't work. You're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. But what happens is you get out a jackhammer and you come in and say, you know what? I know I'm going to make this work. It's always worked before. And you start trying to make that in concrete at that, make that round hole big enough to fit the square peg, and you still try to force it to happen. And it's just not going to happen. And I remember saying this a couple years ago when I went through this. It's like I felt like that my life was a puzzle and it was in a box and all the pieces, 1,000 pieces, and I shook it up and I threw it across the room, and every puzzle piece just like went everywhere, and I can't even find pieces of it. And I don't even know what the picture is because the picture changed. And it's a pretty bizarre feeling. And I know there has to be people going out there. So I want you to know you're not alone in that. What it has to do with is you retemplating your body to get up to speed with the new way of doing things. And you're just trying to learn new templates to put into action, which is what this 1111 portal is about. Not just for yourself, though, but then to take those templates and take them out into, you know, put them into implementation, or at least that's the ultimate goal, that we're going out and implementing these templates into society or into the collective. So, I just want to see, I feel like that kind of is leading up here and to at least kind of getting up to like what I want to finish as far as where things are kind of in this portal, and a couple of the things that I've been seeing to come through with this portal that I wanted to share with you. And that being, I wanted to discuss basically 3 ways that you can focus on becoming more radioactive so that you can be able to tap into this dimension in a new and greater way, to be able to basically operate in this 5th dimensional energy a little bit easier when you understand what's going on. Because the ultimate goal here in all of this is personal freedom. Okay, that's what we're releasing, all the past, and we're trying to go forward, and we're trying to finish the process. And I'll talk about this in a minute, but there's really what I've uncovered from my own discoveries is what in the ascension, I'm being shown 4 different stages, phases, steps really of that. Okay, and this portal is taking us through the 2nd phase of that. And so I'll share with you those phases in a minute. But I want to finish now discussing how to become radioactive. And that is to be able to reprogram your DNA. And in order to reprogram your DNA, that's part about what I was saying about the activation of your light, the activation of your DNA. You literally go, as you go up in light and support light, your body goes through the changes to increase the amount of DNA in your body, which is your photoreceptive sensors that literally create spiraling chains that makes up and supports every function in your body. And so as we go through these higher frequencies and we begin to merge what's happening, merge and to these higher dimensions, we're literally like shifting ourselves up in elevation on so many levels of not just our soul, but our our thought processes are changing. The old ways we used to think about things aren't changing. The way we feel. In fact, what's happening in this, we're feeling more emotional than before because we're tapping into a side of us that we can now feel more that we weren't used to feeling because we cut those feelings off. And now we're expanding that through the duality aspect of waking up a side of us that we that had been sleeping. And so that is being able to reprogram the DNA to support more light so that we can go up in the frequency, so to speak, to tap into this different vibration so that ultimately then as we retemplate our DNA and we go up in our consciousness, which is the portion of that ascension, then we're doing kind of the second part of the radioactive part is we're retemplating our destiny. And that's where we're getting in alignment with the source and we're connecting with all that is, and we're being able to accomplish our missions, and we're being able to actually activate our spiritual gifts, and we're being able to unleash our soul's purpose. So we have to get ourselves activated, is what I'm saying, to go up at a high enough frequency through this radioactivity in order to tap into the higher vibration, which is where our destiny is, get into the destiny. And then now, as we're there, retemplating ourselves to match, not just the new vibration, but to match the new actions, to match the new areas in your life of, the changes in direction and shifting careers and shifting relationships and literally changing. That's so the first part where I talk about reprogramming your DNA would be to literally change the internal vibration of your body. And now retemplating your destiny is where everything around you starts to match everything on the inside as you go up in that vibration and tap into the different aspect of that. And then in addition to that, the number 3 aspect is we all know that we came here to experience love and eternal love, because that's what this whole journey is about. And that's what this portal is about reconnecting the heart and bringing the pieces and the fragments of the heart back together. And what's happened in these portals, even in the total eclipse of the heart, we've went through shattered hearts. We've went through breaking ourselves apart to dump out the pieces that don't serve us purpose so we can fill ourselves back up with self-acceptance and self-love, and to be able to reconnect. Not just when I talk about the energy reconnect, we're having to do that on levels, but we're having to then reframe and free our minds and free our bodies and free our soul of the things that have been the memory patterns that have been stuck within the DNA. We're having to go through detoxes here, and to go through those detoxes, we're needing to do that on the mind, body, spirit aspect so that we can integrate that into one, making that connection, which is where we start to gain the oneness of the heart, which is what I'm being shown is, the golden heart. And there's a lot more to that than I can share here at this time. There'll be more to come on that. But so as we do that, then what's happening is we are retemplating our, rewriting our love story, really. And that's why we have to let go of the negative aspects of the twin flame journey itself. Even the twin flame journey that's led us up to here is outdated. Thinking of the journey in terms of it being hard and being a curse, and that it's something that that nobody wants, or if you do want it, then you're still pulling out your codependency sides and you want the relationship or the self desires rather than connecting into the highest version of yourself and tapping into your highest, becoming your highest version of the divine masculine, becoming the goddess, and the divine feminine becoming the goddess, and the divine masculine becoming, the priest here. We have to get into those spaces to tap into the highest version of ourselves, to get in, to be able to connect there with our beloved, and to shift ourselves, to get into alignment with our destiny, and then to let go of our old paradigms, our old thought processes, and how we think about this journey is rewriting our love story so that we can bring home the gold. And one of the things I'm really seeing to help restore that is that we really need to be focusing right now on the restoration of the I am presence of the root chakra. And the reason that is being is because, the divine feminine has done so much work on the lower chakras and has been healing so much to go up in that vibration. But with the divine masculine coming in, they're still, have a lot of wounds and a lot of battle wounds that affect their confidence and that affect their I am presence. And so unconsciously, I've been saying we are clearing some of that energy for them. So doing a root chakra repair right now will be very important to help heal these pieces that need to be let go of the past, that are preventing you being stuck in your own personal journey and the journey that you're connected to with your twin flame, so you can let go of the old paradigms of twin flame world and recreate those templates, because in the new templates of even twin flame, it's about becoming in alignment, and it's about losing the label. It's not about being diagnosed with cancer can be doomsday. And just because you're told that, you can give up and you can die, or you can take other alternatives that are even maybe natural and you can fight it and you can beat it. Okay. So it's about kind of the same idea. Don't get hung up and let the past ways, if even this twin flame journey, block you from your blessing. It's time to rewrite your love story. So we're talking here again about reprogramming your DNA, retemplating your destiny, and rewriting your love story so that you can create personal freedom. And that all of this is part of that ascension process, but it's kind of the part we're about to move into. We are not quite there yet, but that's what I'm seeing as being we are all one. It's entering into the golden city. It's about being it's about the actual rapture. And I kind of jumped ahead there. But with that being said, let's step back now. Let me share with you that pathway to heaven on earth here about finding inner peace and happiness, which is this 4-step aspect of the twin flame ascension process. And step 1 is where we are actually doing the rebirth aspect of it, where we are becoming one with our sacred self, and we're crossing what I've been shown to call is the rainbow bridge, where we are returning back to the sacred self, which is when I say rainbow bridge, it's got to do with bringing all those colors back of ourselves back into oneness. And we have moved beyond illusions, and we have awakened to our identity, and we are then starting to increase our receptivity, take responsibility, and starting to transform and creating breakthroughs in our lives. And because we've been clearing all the karma and clearing all the past, but the key here is we had to surrender to that. We had to surrender to get through that process. And in order to do that, that allowed us to become in union with ourselves, which is part of this portal that we are solidifying, the template in us of being unified, going through this portal. And this portal is kind of like the eye of the needle that we hear about, that it's hard to kind of get in that eye of the needle, because it takes so much mastery to come into that oneness of self. And then on top of that, we're being kind of, if we haven't done some of the work, I shouldn't even say consciously, but freely in an aspect that we've agreed to it, we're being shoved into alignment with some of it. And that's where you're fighting. If you're in an intense space right now, it's because you're fighting the process of getting through this portal. You're going to go through this portal or not, but depending upon if you choose to surrender and go through this portal with ease and grace will depend upon if you go out on the other side of this portal, coming out through the ease and grace of that, of going forward, implementing these, or being able to work your light and activate your light, work your light, and live your light, and bring it into form, basically. I've been talking about bringing it into form since I know at least May, but it's been a process. So through this process, you know, I will tell you one more time, it is a deal where you got to trust the process. And I know people hear that over and over, and it's like, seriously, is that what I still have to do? And it is yes. We are being asked to go on unwavering faith right now. I had an experience of this over the weekend. I won't even share with it here, but it was an amazing experience showing me the transition within myself of going from any unwavering faith into what was the full ascension that I kept feeling might be coming. I could feel that rebirth coming out of that. It was the rebirth. And even though I felt like for probably a year I'd been doing rebirth, like I literally felt the actual rebirth come through, and that creates the harmony. That creates where you connect with purpose at your highest level. And that sets you up then to be in a place of where we're kind of at in the middle of this portal here, of being at step 2 of this ascension process, which is the resurrection. So what I just described was the resurrection. So you're going through like the rebirth of who you were, becoming basically somebody different because you're retemplating all the new ways now and trying to figure out how you're going to do that. And once you the way you do that is you then make the connection on all levels of mind, body, and soul, and you bring that integration into the integrating your heart space. And that becomes the becoming one with source at that point. And then that's where it goes into the step 3 that I was talking about, where we become one with all it is, and that's the rapture. And that's the part where we're, basically living heaven on earth, and we're entering the golden city and the promised land of milk and honey, and we're reaping our rewards, and especially of personal freedom, and that giving us personal empowerment and infinite abundance, and a heart-centered life, and liberating communication, and being able to express our soul from a place that of to a level, I should say, of our heart and what our heart desires rather than our mind, because most of our expression up to this point came from the mind. And that's another point in this. We're coming at these new ways from our heart and not our head. And that means the surrender has to come from a full collapse between this ultimate battle here between the head and the heart. And so as we then go into through this rapture, which is the 3rd step. So we got step 1 of the rebirth, step 2 is the resurrection, and then step 3 being the rapture. Then that is when we're in that space of the vortex, or in that space of the golden city, and we are then in a space of the return of our restoring the oneness of our beloved and coming into one with them. And not that we haven't been doing that because it's been in the 5D, but we're doing it then in the 3D, and that is the return of Eden. That is when we're coming back and we're having a reunion and the return of Eden, and we're getting to bring home the gold. And it's like going, to a marathon, or, going to the Olympics, and what do you choose? Do you, first of all, you have to train to get there to the Olympics. It's hard work to go to the Olympics, right? Then when you get there, you have to basically compete and show what your abilities, and show what you have to offer. And then from there, it determines, gold or silver. And there's so many great, I'm just going to use, I want to give an example here of athletes. So there's so many great athletes out there. Like, they all should be gold medals, right? But what's the difference in one versus the other? What's the difference in silver versus gold? What is the difference? The difference is who believes is the one that sees it. When you get down between gold and silver, it's all about who believed they were bringing home the gold. And you look at any studies of athletes and you will find that information that that is the ticket to gold. You'll believe it, or you'll see it when you believe it. And what do you believe? So you need to rewrite that love story so that you can bring it into form and implement it. And right now, all the guides and all the legions are coming in and saying, it's time. Let's go. There is no time for details. I've been saying this so much lately. But we are being asked to listen. Okay, we're being asked to listen in an aspect that some pieces of this is being the blind faith of being kind of feeling that separation from our typical connection to our guides and our spiritual presence, so that we can now trust ourselves, so that we can now become empowered, so that we can now know without wavering wavering faith that we trust this process. And this is the ultimate truth of ourselves. Is the ultimate truth is trusting the process. And then from there, it's being in acceptance of, to get there is a lot of being in acceptance of self, being gentle with yourself, learning how to breathe and enjoy this journey, and having compassion for yourself, and learning how to embrace this journey, and being able to learn how to forgive yourself on top of other people, so that you can expand the heart chakra. So as we heal this root chakra, activate the solar plexus, our heart chakra is expanding through this portal, so that we can learn how to give and receive in an aspect of harmonic balance. So that's why this portal is creating harmony, so to speak, too. It's helping us be able to bring love into form, so that we get to experience it for ourselves, with ourselves, and then share with others, and then share with our beloved. And I will say one thing about in this portal, in this time frame for the divine masculine energy, the throat chakra is really being tested right now, because there's so much of the aspect of so many wanting to reach out, and so many wanting to tap into. And what's happening is there's a lot of throat chakra clearing still going on for that. But doing the root chakra work will really help shift that. And so I just challenge you, as we go through this 1111 portal, to make sure to choose. Now's the time to choose what you want. Do you want to continue your old battle? Do you want to continue the old ways? Do you want to continue the being stuck and being basically miserable in your own wheel of going nowhere? It's time to move forward. It's time to let go of what's holding you back. It's time not to let anybody rob you of your empowerment and your personal freedom, including your own twin flame. Don't give them that kind of power over you. It's about you being able to be empowered in yourself and not needing someone to make you happy. You have to find the inner peace and happiness within you. And that's what freeing your soul and becoming personally empowered and personal freedom, and spreading your wings and flying like the eagles that we are, with all possibilities, and to experience everything we sign up for. So I just want to see if there's anything else coming through. I feel like that is complete. Guidance had came in, and this weekend, when I came to bring this message, I felt the message was kind of like a later message, a shorter message, and really just about being able to leave you with that thought that I said, what do you choose during this time? And no matter where you are or who you're connected with here, you need this portal is about collaboration. This portal is about bringing it into form. This portal is about creating the grid lines and anchoring them into the earth. And to do that in this portal with someone is going to be amplify your power to the nth degree. And if you found it in your heart, if you found it, in a space of like on the fence about it, you know, I would highly recommend that you get signed up for a couple spots that I have left here. So, well, happy 11/11 portal to you. May you enjoy this aspect. And I do want, there is one more thing that's coming through me to tell you, two pieces. One is that you signed up for this journey, that you are the chosen one that signed up, that has becoming awakened to this journey, whether you're a twin flame or not, but awakening to your consciousness. And that we are coming together collectively to anchor these grids. And that's where, you know, this 144 is really coming through right now. And I've downloaded a whole bunch of information on the connection of that and how to tap into these grid lines and be able to anchor the grid, the energy into these grid lines. So if you understand any of that and have been working on any of that, I would suggest you do some grid work during this portal. That's what I wanted to tell you. This portal is going to be about doing some grid work. So, and if you're not familiar with it, I don't want to leave you hanging. I want you to know it has to do with connections you've had in previous lives or past experiences, or where places of your fragments have been, like through the soul fragmentation. It's about where all your fragments have been. When you come back into oneness, pulling that back in, and also even in the earthly plane into that 3D plane, and reconnecting those grids, not only for yourself, but you are one collective person that then collects to your unit of your twin, that then collects into the World Wide Web. So it goes yourself, templated with template of you and your beloved, that gets templated into the World Wide Web. So if you have missing links in this, as we know, a document won't function through the World Wide Web, or a link won't function if it's not configured appropriately. So doing this grid work and anchoring these energies and being able to reconnect, I'll have more coming on this, just so you know, because it's deep, but being able to plug those leaks to that energy that has not been functioning properly within your template. And some of those templates are things I will tell you that's coming up, like, for instance, healing cultural changes, healing family belief systems, as well as family curses, and being able to heal that aspect of the lineage because of the collective. So we're not only now in this portal, what I'm talking about with these grids, we're not only, when we do our own templates, sometimes that's where I'm talking about cleaning up in the energy and the collective energy around you and all of your soul family, so to speak, okay? And I did create a very, very cool free online source that's coming out soon. After the portal will be finished, and I'll be releasing it to help you free your soul by completing your contract, basically. So this whole portal is about really completion of the contract and going forward, and retemplating into the new template. All right. So for anybody that has not got to that level, this information that I put together in the free document that will be coming soon will help you do that. Okay. And so there'll be much more to come. So I just wanted to give you like a very high overview here. And again, happy 11/11 portal. I will be sending every one of you here love and light during this portal ceremony coming up. You know, you're going to be part of, you know, the collective that I'm going to be working with for that portal. So you will be having love and light sent to you from me and my collective group that we're going to be doing the ceremony. So much love to you. Many blessings. May you always face fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.